And welcome in on this June the 20th, and certainly hope it has been a profitable week for you thus far. If not, we have you covered here on Sports Memo Today. I'm Joe Raineri, stepping in for one Dan Alexander. He'll be back here in just a couple of days, but it's not going to stop us from introducing you to two of the very best over at SportsMemo.com. If you haven't had a chance to get to know these guys, we'll sharpen that number 2 pencil and write this down. Head over and meet the one and only Rocky Atkinson. He's going to join us here, as well as the legendary Ross Benjamin. And most people who are considered legendary are dead. Not Ross. Absolutely not. He is here, and he is ready to go here today. And before we get to him, let me bring in our good friend, Rocky Atkinson, crushing it across the board. As always, Rocky, a pleasure to see you, my friend, on this June 20th, dog days of MLB on our way here. What do you got ready to roll over at SportsMemo.com for us?
Thank you, Joe. Yeah, good to be back with you guys here today. I do have one Major League Baseball play up and loaded for tonight on a small 60% run over the last, I think it's 15 plays in Major League Baseball. So looking forward to another winner here tonight for my clients.
I got to ask you too, Rock, because you were absolutely, as long as I can remember, you were always one of the most profitable NASCAR handicappers that I know in the business, man. What's going on with NASCAR right now? We got anything coming up? What they do? Take a break? I feel like nobody ever talks about it anymore.
Yeah, they no race on Sunday. This past Sunday, Father's Day. They don't race on Father's Day. They do race on Mother's Day, but they didn't race on Father's Day, so took a little break. I think it's Nashville coming up this coming Sunday. I'm on a 5-0 run in NASCAR. One losing season and 28 years of handicapping in NASCAR. So looking forward to the race this coming Sunday.
I absolutely love it. The man is pure money on the track, and not too bad here in the MLB as well. So let's kick it off here, Rock. Let's talk about two really high-quality baseball teams here. Let's talk about Detroit and Kansas City before I throw up in my mouth. Let's see what we've got going on here. We've got Lorenzen, I believe, going for Detroit. Is it Lynch going for the Royals here? Love Lorenzen. He's been pretty darn good for this Detroit Tigers team. A lot of youth on both of these teams. How are you going to approach this one here tonight?
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the side here. You know, Kansas City 19-53 overall this season. Detroit 31-40. This Kansas City team, they're battling Oakland for the worst team in Major League Baseball. They even blew it yesterday. They had a good lead yesterday over the Tigers, and with Jordan Lyles on the mound, and we know Kansas City hasn't won with him on the mound at all this year. I think it's like 0-15 now in all his starts. But today they send in Lynch here to pitch. Kansas City's 1-6 their last 7 games overall. They're allowing 5.7 runs per game during that time. They're 2-14 so far this month. They're 9-34 this year when playing at night. They're 14-38 this year after a loss, 18-54 their last 72 road games. Daniel Lynch 0-3 with a 5.79 ERA overall this year. He's 0-1 with a 4.5 ERA on the road this season, 0-3 with a 6.50 ERA his last 3 starts. He's 1-3 with a 5.21 ERA in his 6 career starts versus Detroit. Detroit, they've won 4 of the past 5 games overall. They're scoring 5.6 runs per game. Their last 7 games overall, they played well against division opponents this year, 13-8 record, where they're allowing only 3.4 runs per game and allowing opposing teams a combined 207 batting average. Detroit 6-1 the last 7 games overall versus Kansas City. I'm going to recommend a small play on Detroit here in this one.
Yeah, I mean, what's there not to like? They kind of, won 4 of their past 5. They after losing, I think, 11 of 12. So they are rolling with the right guy on the mound. Big win last night, looking to get another one here tonight with him on the mound. So Tigers for Rocky here tonight against Kansas City. And we got another one on the card here, Rock, that, boy, oh boy, I can't wait. This is kind of must-watch television in the MLB here tonight, right? Verlander goes home, or though maybe Detroit would be, I don't know. The guy's been all over the friggin' map. He's 106 years old, and now all of a sudden he's supposed to go and beat the guy that replaced his ass in Houston. So what are we going to get tonight from a 58-year-old Verlander going up against his former team?
Yeah, well, the Mets are 34-38 overall this year. Houston 39-34 overall in the season. Neither team playing as well as most people thought they would before the season started. So both underachieving at this point. Verlander 2-3 with a 4.40 ERA overall this year. He's 1-1 with a 5.85 ERA on the road this season. So we're not seeing Verlander numbers so far this year. This Mets team, they struggle against left-handed starters. They have a record of 8-17 this year, where they're scoring only 3.7 runs per game with a team batting average of only 225. The Mets 21-44 the last 65 road games against a team with a winning record. Framber Valdez 6-5, 2.27 ERA overall this year. These numbers, his one-loss record really don't tell. I mean, he's lacked run support. He's 2-4 at home this year, but his ERA is 2.02, and he's 1-1 with a 1.89 ERA his last three starts. He's 1-0 with a 0 ERA in his one career start versus the Mets. Houston, they've lost 5 games in a row coming into this one, but I think they'll get back on track here tonight. They're 13-5 the last 18 games against teams with a losing record, and they're 122-56 their last 178 home games against a team with a losing record. Houston 4-1 overall versus the Mets the last 3 years. Going back even farther than that, they're 7-1 the last 8 meetings overall in this series, and they're 8-1 their last 9 meetings at home against the New York Mets. I'm going to recommend playing the Houston Astros in this one.
So what do you do, Rock? Do you ever look at the fact that, because I'm watching that game last night, and I'm watching the Mets pour it on late, and I'm going, oh, this is not good for Verlander. Embarrassing Houston, 11-1 there on their own home court. I mean, Scherzer was phenomenal, but it feels like with Valdez on the mound, they got a little revenge on their mind. Teams don't like getting smoked 11-1 like that, and now they come back with their best pitcher. You look at that and go, this has got bounce back written all over it here tonight for Houston.
Exactly. A little revenge spot here for Houston, getting embarrassed last night. They're in front of their home crowd again. They don't want to hear a bunch of boos for sure. So I think they bounce back strong here tonight.
Yeah, with Valdez on the mound, guy's been absolutely phenomenal. But Father Time going for the Mets here. I mean, Verlander, sorry, wrong guy. 6-1's the same guy. Rocky Atkinson, my man. Listen, guys, if you head over to SportsMemo.com, best bets are available on Rocky's page. And if I've said it once, I'll say it again. Get ready for NASCAR to return. Next race coming up. The guy, nobody, and I mean nobody in NASCAR has been more profitable than Rocky Atkinson. So make sure you hop on board, whether it be one of those 3-day, 7-day, 30-day all-access passes, guys. Get on board with Rocky Atkinson. Rocky, always a pleasure, brother. Best of luck with the plays. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you, Joe. Take care.
All right, Rocky Atkinson, SportsMemo.com. Make sure you head over there, visit him. And while you are there, the legend, and I ain't shit. Most people dead when you call him legend, but nope, not Ross Benjamin. He is alive. He is here. He is with us. And I could not be happier. It is always a pleasure, my man, to get to share the screen with you. How you been?
Good. I was just taking my pulse to make sure that you were relaying correct information. And I'll tell you, if I don't clean my office in the next hour, I will be dead. My wife will crucify me. So other than that, I'm doing good, Joe. Thank you for asking. And I appreciate your kind words, sir.
I love it, my man. All right, so we've got a couple of MLB games on the card here tonight. We're going to take a look at for you. Before we get to that game, tell the folks what you got going on here tonight over at sportsmemo.com. What are we looking at?
I got a 4-star top play going tonight in Major League Baseball over at SportsMemo.com. 14-9 with my last 23 in Major League Baseball. 4-1 the last 3 days. Lost a tough one last night, Joe. I had the Pittsburgh and Cubs game over 9. It finished 8-0. Both teams combined to leave 20 men on base. And the Pittsburgh Pirates left the bases loaded twice. I always say sometimes when you lose a game, you have to do a self-evaluation and say, okay, would I make that same pick today with the same identical circumstances? And unequivocally, I would say yes. With that, unfortunately, didn't come through last night. But we're on a nice run in Major League Baseball, Joe. Thank you for asking.
No, that was a good play, man. I was on that as well. Would have been nice if the Pirates participated in the game. Would have been great. Thanks so very much there, Pittsburgh. My God, how they won 30-plus games is beyond me at this point. All right, we've got the Battle of the 405 coming up. We're going to get to that game, Dodgers-Angels. But you just heard Rocky talk a little bit about this Royals-Tigers game. He likes the Tigers in another opportunity here to get the W. You're going to approach this game a little bit differently. Tell us about it.
Yeah, first of all, hold your nose when we're talking about this game because it stinks. But, there's going to be a winner on the side. There's going to be a winner on the total, and I'm going to look at the total, Joe. Again, Daniel Lynch on the mound for the Kansas City Royals and Michael Lorenzen for the Detroit Tigers. Not really an appealing starting pitching matchup. Daniel Lynch in his last 3, 0-3 in his team starts, 6.50 ERA, allowed 5 home runs in 18 innings pitched. That's an alarmingly high number. Michael Lorenzen in his last 2 starts, both of which took place at home like it will tonight, 12 earned runs in 12 2/3 innings pitched in those outings. And again, he allowed 4 home runs in 12 2/3 innings pitched. He's made 1 start against Kansas City this year, went 5 2/3 innings, allowed 5 earned runs, and also gave up 3 home runs. We all know Kansas City is not exactly a powerhouse or power-laden team, I should say. Lorenzen 5-1 to the over at home this year with a lofty 4.71 ERA. Detroit 7-1 to the over in their last 8 hit home runs during those 8 games. Also 7-0 over at home against a lefty, and Daniel Lynch is certainly qualifies in that regard. 8-0 over at home this year. When facing a starting pitcher, it allows 1 home run or more per start, and Daniel Lynch qualifies in that regard. Kansas City 19-0 to the over versus a bullpen with a whip of 125 or less like Detroit has. And as light a hitting team as Kansas City is, Joe, they've played Detroit 4 times this year. They scored 4 or more runs on each occasion. I'm going to go over the total of 8.5 in this battle of not very good teams in the AL Central.
Could be a lot of batting practice in this game here tonight. I'd even look first 5 and look at the over too. Expect both these guys maybe to give up a little too much too soon here, but that's game 1, 6:40 first pitch tonight. Detroit won last night. Looking for some runs here again tonight in this one. And then, of course, got a late game out west here. Love this as the Battle of L.A. It's so funny. You talk to people in L.A., Ross, right? They don't even bring up the Angels. It's not L.A. It might as well be San Diego. If I had a dime for every time I heard that, that's all the way. It's way south. Nobody goes down there. It's ridiculous. Well, it's a pretty damn good team right about now with a couple of really good players on it. And the Dodgers reeling just a little bit here. What are we doing here with the Battle of L.A. tonight?
Well, to appease the Dodgers fan, let's call them the Anaheim Angels, okay? Are you okay with that, fan? Anything that's going to make you people happy, we're more than accommodating on this show. Anyway, the total in this game right now is 8.5, and that's going to be my area of concentration. Talking about power-laden teams, Joe, the LA Dodgers have hit 116 home runs this year. That's 1.61 home runs per game, which is 1.25 or better is a really good number. They're at 161. And the Angels, 108 home runs thus far in 2023. And they average 1.46 home runs per game. So these are 2 teams that could go yard and do it with frequency. Clayton Kershaw, is he still a good pitcher? Absolutely. Is he better than most still? Yes. But he's not the dominating pitcher he once was. And he always has had a little bit of difficulty when facing teams with a lot of power. As a matter of fact, 12-2 to the over since 2021 is Kershaw when he faces teams that average 1.25 or more home runs per game, which I already alluded to. The Angels are at 1.46. The Dodgers, on the other hand, 18-6 to the over this year when facing an opponent that averages 1.25 home runs per game or more. So some pretty strong in-season numbers right there for the Dodgers, as well as you look at Kershaw and his struggles against power-laden teams over the last 3 seasons. The Dodgers bullpen, let me be specific, have been absolutely brutal this year. I mean, I remember the days up until recently where if the Dodgers had a lead going into the 7th, the game was over, Joe. Not no more. This is a team that's really struggled in the bullpen. They've walked 17 batters in their last 24 innings pitched. The LA Dodgers bullpen in their last 7 games, how about a staff 7.93 ERA and a 1.70 WHIP? You're not going to win a lot of games like that, but you'll certainly see a lot of high-scoring games when that occurs, and that's just what I'm going to do, Joe. I'm going to go with another over here. The LA Dodgers and the Anaheim Angels. How's that? Over 8.5.
So see, we're very accommodating here, Ross. I think you nailed it there. And yes, Dodgers mashing lefties again could be a very long night for Detmers. And I mean, is anybody better than Trout and Ohtani? I don't care who you're throwing out there. Remember last year how much money we were able to make? Just bet the Dodgers on the run line. I don't care what it was. Lay the 1.5. If they got after the 6th inning with a lead, the game was over. It was just completely over. What a difference a year makes. Over expecting some runs here tonight in L.A. Dodgers taking on those Anaheim Angels. And a quick reminder, guys, over at SportsMemo.com, you've got your 4% best bet up, ready, locked, and loaded. Is that what we've got here, Russ?
Yeah, it will be up right after the show. I'm not one of those guys who puts picks up 24 hours in advance and then have to listen to people tell me the line changed. So it's all about winning for me. It's not about let's keep the store open as long as we could to sell things. Everybody does things differently, and I don't criticize anybody who does it the other way. It's just my own philosophy, Joe. That's all.
Which is, to avoid all of that, by being an annual subscriber, get the all-access pass, and then you ain't ever got to worry. You get it when he posts it up. It's that simple. Bottom line is he's got the best bets. They're up. They're going to be ready to roll. All you have to do is go visit Ross over at SportsMemo.com. My friend, always a pleasure, man. Best of luck with the plays here tonight. I look forward to doing it again.
Joe, I always have a lot of fun working with you, my friend, and take care and have a great week.
Yes, and hurry up. Make sure you get that honeydew list done because your ass may not make it till tomorrow to get back over there.
It won't be a living legend anymore if it's not.
Listen, had one. Know exactly what you're going through, man. I know exactly what you're going through. That'll do it for us here today, guys. Sports Memo Today. I would highly encourage you guys, go visit Ross Benjamin, go visit Rocky Atkinson, hop on board, partner up with these guys. They're ready to roll here tonight. MLB. It's what we got, and it can be extremely profitable if you guys have never bet it. So make sure you hop on board and partner up with them over at SportsMemo.com. Dan will be back here on Thursday from an undisclosed location. I don't know where that will be. Hopefully they have internet because my ass is out of here. Either way, guys, appreciate the time. Best of luck with all the plays. We'll talk to you again soon. Good luck.